Dr. Budweiser from Wiser Living. We have a very exciting program for you today. We have Mr. Denie Hiestand, who has an amazing product called theCream. So let's get right into this interview. We have Denie Hiestand with us today, and I'd like to start out by asking you, what is your background?
Background is engineering, agriculture science, and natural health.
You know, what inspired you to create this skincare line?
It's quite a long story. In 30 years of treating people as a natural health consultant, the incidence of breast cancer got higher and higher. And looking at the cause of the chemical toxicity that triggers breast cancer, skin care and the way the skin works from my agriculture science showed me that the skin is a very absorbable organ and a live biological life force. And so I took all my clients off all skincare products, and a beautiful lady who was dying of breast cancer said to me, why don't you make something that gives us beautiful skin that doesn't kill us, basically. And that changed my life, and that was 8 years ago. And so that's when I started to truly research skincare and how toxic the mineral oils and the chemicals in skin cream getting through the skin into the blood, and the body then having to create a gel, which ended up as the tumour and cancer. And so I decided to develop a purely biological, live, life-giving skin cream based on the most powerful, life-giving substance known in the universe, colostrum.
You know, you talk about toxins. You know, you have a passion for getting toxins out of skincare. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, the skin is an absorbable organ. Of course, us agricultural scientists know this from back in the 1950s and 60s, where we developed pour-on drenches for large animals, mainly cows. Chemicals that you can pour on their back can go through the skin, called a rinse hunk of leather, and into their blood to kill a stomach worm inside a 3,000-pound animal. They surely go through the human absorbable skin. The skin is a highly absorbable organ. Water molecule doesn't go through, you can't hydrate your skin from being in the shower, but the chemical molecules are such a small molecular structure, they pour through the skin. And skin creams are the worst. It's not so much the makeups and the hairsprays and things like that, because the creams have got a transdermal in them designed to take them through into the deep dermal layers and then through into the blood. So skincare is incredibly toxic. In fact, 80 million molecules a day of non-life-giving compounds. If we want to be truly honest and straightforward, 80 million molecules of death going into the blood a day of an average Western woman's skincare regime. I set about to say no to that reality. We're the biggest destruction of women's health through chemicals and skincare, which are hormonal mimickers. Alzheimer's induces by frying the brain neurons, and cancer, and particularly breast cancer in a mature woman. It is the single biggest destruction of women's health ever in human history from skin creams. And so I decided to change that reality and give women a choice and their families a choice to make a biologically live, life-giving skin cream that actually works.
Well, speaking of choices in skin cream, can you give us a little bit more information about the ingredients and the benefits of colostrum?
Colostrum has really been a forgotten miracle because pharmaceutical industries can't patent it because it's a natural product. We get our colostrum from New Zealand bovine grass-fed cows. We're the only place in the world we've got 4 million dairy cows outside eating natural grass, calving on a seasonal basis. Colostrum is produced for 72 hours after birth of every mammal on earth. It is the most powerful life-giving substance known, because when that new baby is born, whether it's a human baby or any other mammal, there's 100 trillion cells are not working. And it's brought up onto the breast and it gets a feed of colostrum. Colostrum is the only compound known in the universe that contains every single ingredient for life. It contains a compound in it that starts the DNA code. It starts the electrical circuitry, starts the immune system. In fact, it is the only complete food known. I just figured out how to get a colostrum into a skin cream and transdermal it through the skin cells into the cell membrane for topical application. It is a world first, it has never been done before, it is a world-winning concept, and every biophysicist that's looked at my cream just says, how did you do this? It is what we've done. We've taken really the essence of nature, how life is created, how life is sustained, how life is propagated, and put it into a topical application.
Oh, that's amazing. And saying that, what skincare products can the cream replace?
Well, we're bringing out a range. We've got two. We've got a face and a men's cream. We're bringing out a total of an 8 range line. It replaces every single skin cream on the global market today with our range of 8 creams. We've got an eye cream, and each cream is based on my colostrum formula with a little tweaking to enhance its effectiveness for its required use, whether it be a hand cream, a body cream, a face cream, or an eye cream. and a repair cream. So you don't have to change the formulation much, but those subtle change, it gives us a far better active for each intended use. Like the hand cream's got extra moisturiser in and things like that. And so we've taken a base concept, a base formulation, and moulded it to enhance its effectiveness for each area of the body.
Wow, that's really exciting because, you know, with people liking to get suntans and everything, what how can this be used instead of sunscreen?
We intend to bring out a sunscreen eventually, but we haven't got one. But we really don't need a sunscreen because you want the sun's radiation on your skin. That's the only thing that produces vitamin D3 in your body. In fact, you need 30 minutes. A white skinned person needs 30 minutes a day of full sun on 80% of the skin in the body to give them enough vitamin D3. Vitamin D3 deficiency is one of the single biggest cancer-inducing compounds. So in other words, vitamin D3 is the single biggest anti-cancer compound known to science, and it's only available from the sun, so you don't want to block the sun. However, excessive sun can damage the cell or create an inflamed issue with the cell called sunburn. So, but if you supply the cell with all the things that it needs to enhance its production and performance and its vitality, for X amount of environmental impact, you get less damage. So when you use our face cream on your skin, on your face, you can go twice, 3 times as long in the sun before any damage occurs, because the cell is so healthy and it can take the impact. As you know, when you're sick, when you're not feeling well, any impact there, life will hurt you. You know, like when you're under stress, a little bit more stress puts you over the edge. But if you've got zero stress, you can take a huge amount of impacts and that has no effect on you, same effect. So my whole philosophy is fortifying the cell, bringing so much life into the cell that it can take normal day-to-day and even going to the beach for an afternoon. And if you do get a bit of burn, bright pink or more than bright pink, you just put our cream on it before you go to bed and the burn is gone, because it supplies everything the cell needs to recover and repair itself. And that's the beauty of colostrum, because that's God's rules. That's what colostrum does. It actually fortifies, repairs and rebuilds every cell in the body. That's God's or nature's rules, if you like, for 4 billion years, and there's no other substance, no one in the world that does that. And also in our eye cream and our body cream and our hand cream, we've also got an extra compound from out of Africa, a plant root that actually increases the collagen 115% and elastin and reduces the fine lines. So we've got some very, very modern technology. It's a bit like science meeting nature creates a magical compound. But only when you understand that we do not use chemistry, we only use quantum physics and biofield energy. And you know, people use Vaseline on their babies. You know, Vaseline, sure, it's just oil, crude oil, that's all it is. It's petrochemical being refined, but it still contains the vibrational fields of petrochemicals, and those vibrational fields are which the cell-to-cell communication is. So it's like homeopathy. You're still putting engine oil on your baby, which is a pure carcinogen. So that's what I said, no, I'm going to give the woman that I know, particularly originally for my clients and now as we roll it out to the world, because it proved to be so good, a actual choice. For the first time really since the Second World War, we've actually got a choice of a purely life-giving, natural, biologically live skin cream.
You know, you talked about living cells, and you talk a lot about living compounds versus natural compounds. Can you elaborate a little bit on that? Absolutely.
Arsenic is a perfectly natural compound. You can actually get organic arsenic.
True.
It's not too good and life-giving, is it?
Exactly.
That's what I mean. And people get so confused. And even in natural skincare, there is many compounds used that actually are designed by nature to destroy life. The skin, as well as being an absorbable organ, literally everything you put on the skin goes through, it is a farm, it is a garden, it is for every square centimetres you've got about 100,000 life forms living in it. Microbacteria, enzymes, mold, yeast, all sorts of things living in the skin. That biological farm of your skin is there to keep your skin healthy and to keep you alive and healthy. It has a big effect on the rest of the body, okay? And so when you put a compound, even a natural one, like arsenic, but honey, beeswax, lanolin, and a whole, even shea butter, which all of those things do not support biological life. They do not, honey and beeswax is made to kill biological life. That's why bees use it to build their house, so nobody eats their house. And you can put beeswax on an open wound, wonderful, it keeps the kills all the microbacteria so the wound doesn't infect it. But to put it on a good, live, healthy skin, you're actually killing the microbacteria or the farm that is on your skin. Right. So therefore you're destroying the life of the skin. I looked at this from an agricultural science point of view and worked out how to give only things that give life to the farm, to the biological aliveness of the skin, and that is very different from using just so-called natural compounds that don't support a biological life. If you don't support biological life, you're taking life away from you. It's purely simple. So you've got to make the outside of the skin alive and beautiful and healthy, and also you've got to transdermal through to the cell membrane to give the cell life and the nutrition it needs to recover its health. Because when I really started this program 8 years ago, I asked myself, what is beautiful skin? Because everybody wants beautiful skin. Right. And there's only one answer to that, and that is a healthy cell. So I made a compound that gave life and health and vibrancy. Thus, a healthy cell equals beautiful skin.
Well, speaking of healthy cells and beautiful skin, women and men who use the cream, what type of results can they expect and what time frames?
People can feel it in 24 hours and people will notice it within days. I've had many women call me up and say, oh my God, I started using your skin cream this week and just 2 days ago, and my girlfriends are noticing and asking me, what did I do differently? It can have that dramatic effect. On any skin damage issue, whether it's a scar or surgery or a pimple or anything like that, you can notice that within hours. It will take the inflammation out. Sunburn will take the inflammation out within hours. It's phenomenal. And it's not what I've done, it's just understanding how nature works. Colostrum is the only thing that gives every component for life and for the cell to recover and to rebuild itself. So when you transdermal colostrum through to the cell membrane, it is like an explosion of life takes place. Remember, one suckle from a baby sets off and in motion and fully and totally feeds 80 trillion to 10 trillion cells in the baby's body. But just imagine what you do when you put that boost of colostrum through to a skin cell. It changes every single measurable parameter of that cell. So back to life.
In saying that, I mean, it's really exciting because we have this buzzword out there called anti-aging. So
yep.
Can you kind of elaborate on anti-aging results?
Well, that's a good question. A biophysicist from Switzerland, a retired head of research from one of the big pharmaceutical companies in the world, said you've actually got the only true, genuine anti-aging skin cream in the world. And I smiled and I said, well, can you explain that from a scientific point of view? Because I believe that. He said, you've got colostrum. You have scientifically proven that you can get colostrum through the dermal layers into the cell membrane. He said colostrum is the only thing that starts life. It's the only thing that starts off the cell. It is the only thing that starts off the DNA code. It is the only thing that supplies every single component for every cell's total nutritional and functional needs. So therefore, he said, and colostrum activates the DNA code, which is the only thing known that activates the DNA code to that extent. He said, so anti-aging is fortifying the cell, rebuilding the cell back to where it's meant to be, cleaning it out and supplying everything it needs to be totally healthy and activating the DNA code to its original instruction. He said, colostrum is the only compound in the known universe that does that. You have got a colostrum skin cream and you're getting it through the cell membrane. You've got the only truly honest, effective anti-aging skin cream on the world market. And that's what's shown when you use it on your skin. We can take people with 30-year scars on and in a 3-month period get that scar to be completely gone. Wow. Because we can reactivate the DNA code and rebuild the cell back to where it's meant to be.
Wow, it's amazing. You know, you use some key words that I'd like people to hear about, like alive, and bioavailable, real food. In quantum physics, you used that word earlier. You know, how do these words actually apply to the cream?
I know, because we've never used those terminology in skincare before, because we've never had a biological life skincare. A biological life skincare means one that the cell knows what it is. It's a cell, because every cell doesn't actually work or get life from the compound, from chemistry. Chemistry is just really a kindergarten way of analytically analyzing an electrical process that happens in the body. The body works on an impulse. It's all about cell-to-cell communication. And so that is that quantum level, or the electrical field level. From a science point of view, it's the zeta potential. It's the vibrational field around the atoms. That is what gives you life. Anything that is bioavailable has its electrical field or its quantum field, its zeta potential intact, so that cell-to-cell communication knows how to function. In other words, the cell says, I know what this is, I know what this is, and I know what to do with it. If you like, it's like turning on the radio, hearing the impulse going through the air, amplifying it, and you hear the song. The cell does the same thing. It hears, picks up the impulse, the vibrational field of the biologically live compound, and says, I know what that is, and I know what to do with it. A biologically dead compound, like most things that our skin creams are made out of, have not got that vibrational field because they're biologically dead. That's why they never go off, that's why they're stable, that's why nothing eats it, because there's no life there, there's no transfer of information. And so therefore that's biologically dead. I went a completely another way and using a new level of science, pure quantum physics, and understanding the zeta potential, getting that all the compounds in our cream to make a harmonious whole, the homeostasis, so the cell says, I know what this is, and I know what to do with it. No, I know what to do with it. And that is the magic of what I've done.
You know, just listening to you, all of my cells are at homeostasis, so I want to really end this by saying thank you very much for this valuable information that you gave us, and anyone that has skin, they should use the cream. So thank you very much.
Thank you. I've had many doctors say, I've got one gynecologist, a good friend of mine in Seattle, Washington, and he held that bottle. He said, this is the only thing from a newborn baby to your deathbed should ever use on your skin, because this is the only cream in my lifetime that I've seen that actually gives life to a cell.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you, Denie.
Thank you.